We are going to start today lying on our backs, please. So lying back, knees up, feet on the ground. Just take a moment to settle in. Arms could be at your sides or bring hands onto your belly. Just take a moment to settle down. We will start moving quite soon today because it's a bit cold, literally, especially down here where it's a bit drafty. So just start by internalizing your focus. Just checking in, dropping in, feeling your breath either beneath your palms, fingertips, or just sensing it moving in your body. Just a couple of breaths here before we start to move. So we start to bring some movement into the hands, just wriggling fingers and circling wrists one way and then the other. Starting to grow bigger, making bigger circles, bending at the elbows. And then sweep arms wide and all the way high overhead. And extend both legs long. Come on in. Bye. And again, knees up to your chest and just settle in here for a moment. Alright, so you may like to rock from side to side here, just bringing in a bit of movement again. And then bring the left foot down, holding onto the right knee. And just hug it up towards you gently, out your knees, strain. Now wriggling your toes, let's find some movement around the feet. So circling ankles, spreading and closing toes. Just noticing anything that you feel here, any kind of restriction in the movement of the joints. And then the foot relax. So we're just nestling the thigh up towards your body. Keep the shoulders relaxed. And then we'll open the knee out to the side. Use the other hand to help keep your hips level. The knee falls out to the side. Keep shoulders relaxed. Just noticing where you can come to without rolling off the hips. We want to keep both hips level on the ground. Here we're starting to just open up around the inner thigh and the groin. And then passing the knee to the opposite hand, just move it just across the midline of your body. Still keeping both hips on the ground, so making sure you're not rocking off it. Use a little bit of pressure with the hand to draw your knee across. Noticing whether you feel any tightness in the groin or up into the torso, or maybe it's around the outer leg, around the outer hip. It will be different for everyone depending on where your body is tight. And then coming back through center. Just holding on with both hands and the bottom leg straightens out along the ground. You might hover just off the ground and then send the leg high and switch sides. So gather in, holding the left knee, right foot comes to the floor. Let's find some movement in the foot and toes and ankle. So circling, flexing and pointing. Wriggling toes, spread them open, close them in. And then holding the knee with the same hand, let it fall open to the side, round about to the diagonal, as far as you can go without lifting the opposite hip. Just a few breaths here. And then passing the knee to the opposite hand. Anchor the hips, draw the knee gently across. So notice if you feel it in a different place on the side or with different intensity. And then with a neutral position, holding with both hands, bottom leg straightens out. Send the leg high. Gather both knees up towards you and holding with one hand on each knee or wrapping further around, maybe lift your hands and let's just rock side to side again. And then settling back through center, bring your knees together, so thighs touch, and we're going to lift head and shoulders off the ground, so tuck chin up towards your chest and then lift your shoulders up towards your thighs, curling them as small as you can, and then roll all the way back down. We'll do this a few more times, but take a breath in first, and then lifting with the out breath. So letting the out breath drift out slowly as we lift higher. Little squeeze at the top to lift even higher, and then roll back down. With the out breath lifting off. See how much of your spine you can lift away from the ground. Lowering down with control. Head touches down, and this will be our last one, taking a breath in and a breath out to lift. This time we're going to hold at the top, hold both hands to one knee and send the other leg out long. And then we'll cycle the legs, so extend the other leg, hugging the other knee, and just keep on moving. If there's any strain around the neck, you could always lower back down. But if you are lying down, make sure that your abdominals are still active so that we're not just completely relaxing the upper body. Now we want to breathe out each time the thigh comes towards the body. So breathing in when you switch the legs, and breathing out when you hug in close. Let's just do about one more to each side. Okay, and then lie back when you're done. We're going to roll on up to seated, so take hold behind the thighs and coming up and then roll back down. See if you can balance on your sitting bones. Keep your toes light if you're touching the ground. And we'll finally come up and stay up and take a seat. So from a seated position, cross legs. Just let yourself settle in. Maybe loop the shoulders back and down a few times. And then let them fall away from ears. You can close your eyes if you want to, just to internalize your focus. Keep lifting through the crown of the head. Staying for a couple of breaths. Try and internalize your focus so that you feel the way your body is aligned vertically. Feel the movement of the breath. Okay, and then bringing fingertips on either side of you, and to float arms high. Reaching up really tall, really stretch on up, and then float wide again and touch down. So with your next breath, let's rise. With your out breath, touch down. And one more time, rising up. And breathing out to touch down, this time bringing fingertips just behind you. Roll shoulders back and down. You can plant palms if they get there. Chest is proud, shoulders drawing away from your ears. Tip your head back to wherever it feels good. Just hold for another breath. And then tipping forward from your hips, hands float in front. And just settle in here. So let your elbows and shoulders feel heavy. Try to make sure there's no strain in the lower back, so we're trying to pitch forward from the hips. Now walk your hands over to one side, doesn't really matter which side it is, and then sweep the front arm up and over, and then keep turning and pull your arm right back to the diagonal. And then reverse it, so coming overhead again. And sweep around to the other side. Let this front arm continue to travel over, rotate open and reach your arm back. And reverse it. Around the front and to the first side again. Over and sweep forward. And the other side. Just doing it at your own pace. We're going to do it once more to each side. Just go in your own timing. Try and move with your breath. And just float fingertips in front of you when you're done. Alright, come and turn over onto hands and knees. Spread your fingers wide, plant your palms, and let's extend out one leg, just rock back and forth just to relieve the legs after having them bent for a while, and then to the other side. Okay, knees under hips. Let's all go right leg. Send the right leg out long, so it's in line with your hip. So no higher, because then we start to twist open. We want to keep the belly lifted, keep drawing in, and keep the hips square to the ground. And then draw the knee in towards your body. This time we can lift the thigh towards the belly and scoop the belly right into the spine. Extend the leg out long again. And draw it in. Let's switch to the other side, so knees touch down, left leg shoots out long. Knee comes in and try and lift your thigh up towards the body, so right as the spine rounds out. Extend and come in. So we breathe out as the knee comes in and up. Touch down. Let's come to the first side again, so the right side. And if you want to add on, shoot the left arm out. So we're doing opposites. And then come under, so knee and elbow come under. You can just do the leg if you prefer. Extend out long. Try not to collapse the bottom shoulder, so drive down into the hand. Coming under. And then touch down, let's switch sides. So reaching out long. Coming under. Extend and in. All right, touch down. This time, right leg extends, and then bring the knee in and under, and take a big step through into a lunge. Take a moment here to settle in. So try and bring the hips forward. Thinking about creating a long line from the knee up to the hip and up to the crown of the head. So you might be getting a really big stretch up through the front of the hip. And then we'll pull the hips back. You can flex this front foot if you want to make the pose more active. So you can have a little bend in this knee if you need to. We want to try and sit the hips back so we can be long through the spine. Good. Okay, coming through our kneeling lunge again, and this time we'll come up higher. So here we want to be tilting the tailbone down and pulling in through the belly so that we're not just hanging here passively. We want to be strong, slightly driving down into that back leg, back foot, into the floor. Add the arms if you want to, one arm or two. So keep reaching the fingertips high, keep tilting the pelvis so we're pulling in through the belly, deepening the stretch. Come into your hamstring stretch. Lean the chest forward. Okay, now flatten the front foot, tuck the back toes under, knee lifts off, and climb on up into your full lunge. So you can add one arm or two, depending on how stable you feel here. And let's keep sending fingertips far away from that back heel, so one long line, holding for another breath, and touch down. Drop the back knee, release the back foot, sweep arms high. Touch down and come onto your hands and knees again. Let's do the same with the other side. Left leg extends. Knee comes under, lift thigh towards belly, and then step it through. Just making a bit of clearance underneath the foot. So we'll start low. Dropping in, make sure that you've got a lot of weight in the heel. So if you don't, then just take another step forward or reach the back knee away. Just feeling into it at first, feeling the stretch up through, might be into the quad muscle, might be into the hip flexor, depending on where you're feeling tight. Stay for another breath. And then pull the hips back, flexing the foot, leading your chest forward, so a long line up through the body, trying to send the tailbone back rather than curling it under. Coming into our kneeling lunge again, this time rising up. So we want to make this pose as strong as we can. So we've got that little tilt happening in the pelvis, up the front, down the back. And then maybe add the arms if you're feeling stable, one or two. So think about sending fingers away from that back leg, so driving back foot into the ground, reaching the fingers high, and then coming into your hamstring stretch again. Pull back, move the chest forward. Easy breaths. Flatten the front foot, tuck the back toes under, knee lifts off. Climb on up to the thigh. Keep the back leg really strong and then sweep arms up. So we want to make this pose as strong as we can, driving down into the ball of that back foot, send fingertips right the way up. Big long stretch, and then touch down, drop the back knee, release the foot, sweeping arms high, touch down, and come onto your hands and knees. Right, spreading fingers, power down into the hands, tuck your toes under, and lift your hips up high. Downward facing dog. So here we're sending tailbone high towards the ceiling. The knees can be as bent as they need to be, depending on how tight you feel at the backs of the legs. Focus on lengthening up through the spine and broadening your shoulders so that we're not hugging the arms up by your ears. We want to send collarbones wide. Holding for a couple more breaths here. Keep pushing your hips back towards the legs. And then sweep the right leg high. Just keep the hips level, so the leg might not come as high as you think it will. And then coming forward into your plank, knee up towards your body, towards the chest. Send the leg high. And come forward, lift thigh towards chest, and then take a big step through into our kneeling lunge. Rise on up, make sure you're feeling steady, and then add the arms if you can. This time we're going to dip the back knee, keep drawing belly in, tailbone lengthening down, and then pull your arms back a little bit further. So staying strong around the shoulders. Drop the back knee a little bit lower if you can. Sit. And then shifting forward, you can bring your hands to your thigh, to your shin, or reach the ground. But try and keep the hips level and the spine really long so we're not putting pressure in the lower back. Hold for another breath. And then bend to the front knee. Let's sweep palms up again. Dip the back knee. Drop even lower. Good. And then shifting forward, plant hands to the ground, step back. And reset your down dog. Tail high, long spine, wide shoulders. A little bend in the knees, or you might be starting to straighten a bit more. Okay, this time we're going to send the left leg up, keeping hips level. Knee comes up towards the chest, weight comes right forward over your hands. Lift the thigh a little bit higher, and then send the leg up. Coming forward, let's find that clearance first, so thigh up towards your body, and then take a big step through. And make sure you're feeling stable first. You can climb on up to your thigh. Sweeping arms up. This time dip the back knee. So closing in these front ribs, pulling in through the belly. Okay, and then pull your hips back, hands to your thigh or your shin or to the floor. Hold and breathe. Okay, let's bend the front knee and sweep arms up. Dip the back knee low. And then bringing hands to the floor, step both feet back. Okay, let's walk feet all the way up to hands, coming into your forward fold. Step feet around about hip distance apart. As much of a bend in the knees as you need to. Again, we want to think about tilting the tailbone high and dropping the crown of the head. The shoulders relax, so that we're not putting any pressure into the lower back. We want the action to happen from the pelvis, so knees can be as bent as they need to be, and then from there we can start to tip the hips higher. With your arms loose enough, you can hold on to your elbows or just let your arms hang, whatever you like. And either stay still or sway from side to side, rock back and forth. Okay, release arms, bring hands to your shins and lift halfway up. So making a flat back shape. Just keep the legs strong and straighter in this pose. Still drawing in through the belly, along from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Now bend knees deeply and sweep arms high. So we want chest higher than hips, and then sit back even lower. Reaching on up. Send fingertips right up high. Open arms wide, tip from hips to your forward fold. Soften knees as you go and let your head hang. Coming halfway up, let's do it again. So try and rock your weight as far forward as you can. Right into the balls of the feet, tipping hips high. And then as we sit back into our chair pose, then we can rock the weight back into the heels. Drop even lower. Eye gaze just ahead of you. And then reaching up high, stretch, 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 stretch. And bounce your way down, tipping from hips, softening these as you go. Get a sense of laying your upper body over your thighs. We'll do this 2 more times. So coming halfway up, weight forward, so you can imagine that your hips are directly above your heels. So that means that most of your weight is going to be forward of the heels. And then rocking back, sweeping arms high. Let's sit a bit deeper. Good. Extending up. And dive. And let's do this one more time. So halfway lift. Dropping in, reaching on up. Let's take it a bit deeper this time. Sit low and reach and dive. Let your head hang, just holding on to elbows or let the arms hang loose. And bend one knee and then the other if you like, and pedal the legs. Still up feels good. Okay, and then hook one leg under, come and take a seat. Alright, so we're sitting in cross legs. You choose which leg you want in front, but we will be switching so we can even up. Okay, so sitting up nice and tall, getting that feeling of vertically aligning your body. Okay, shoulders loop back and down a couple of times. Okay, and then sweep arms wide and reach up high. Now anchoring your hips, we're tipping forward and reach out as far as you can. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, and then float fingertips down. Let shoulders and elbows feel heavy. I'm going to do this 2 more times, so come on up. Sweep arms wide and rise. Anchor hips, tipping forward. Keep reaching and touch down. And one more time. This time try and keep your arms by your ears as you tip forward. Yes, much better. And then soften down. Stay for a moment, a couple of breaths. Okay, and then we'll come on up and switch legs over. So you might have one side that feels a bit weird being in front. You're not used to it. It might feel like one knee is quite high. Eventually you won't even know which side is your favorite. Okay, so hands either side, reach on up. Keep arms up by your ears and tip forward. Round as far as you can and then soften down. Make sure there's no pain in the lower back, it's really important. Breathe to rise. So if you start to feel any pressure in the lower back, then just stop when you get to that point. And you come as far as you can, drag down into the ground, touch down, and one more time. Exhale forward, and soften. Okay, walk the hands in, shoot one leg out long, up to the diagonal. Tuck the other foot in, either to your inner thigh, or if you need a bit more space, you can have it further away. So see how this knee is feeling especially. So sitting tall, lean in towards the long leg. May not feel like you're coming very far, but I want the action to happen from the hips, not curving through the spine. So think about lengthening up through both sides of the body, the front and back, and then soften hands down, just lean in. Tip your head gently so the neck feels long without dropping the head completely. Okay, now bring both hands inside and then sweep your arm up and over, so just like we did earlier. Then reach back to the diagonal and reverse it. Leaning in, coming up and over. And down. Oh, the time's gone really quickly. Well, for me anyway.
There it is.
And then one more time, this time as we come up and over, we're going to plant the hand just behind the hip and then lift your hips off with the arms sweeps overhead. Keep rolling the chest open to face the ceiling, push your hips high, push the ground away from you, let's hold for another breath. With your out breath, reverse out of it. And then switch legs over. You okay with that one? Oh, you were listening. Alright, so we're on the other side now. Shoot the leg out long. You were in the moment. Foot tucks in, up high or down low. And lean in towards the leg. So check in with this bent knee, make sure that there's no discomfort there. So focusing on dipping from the hips, lengthening your body forward. It doesn't matter how high you get. Make sure your breath can flow with ease. And then we'll bring your hands inside. Front arm sweeps up and over and pull it back. Coming forward and down. Over again. Reach back to the diagonal and reverse it. And then this time, as we come over, we'll keep drawing the arm back. Bring your hands behind your hip. Push down to rise. Top arm sweeps overhead. Push hips forward and high. Roll your chest open, find a place that feels really good to you and stay there. Let's take one more breath in and lower with the out breath. This time we'll make our way over onto our backs, in the same position where we started. Get the knees gently towards your chest. Try not to squeeze them in tightly, just rest hands lightly. You can stay still or you can rock from side to side. Okay, and then plant the left foot to the floor, then send your right leg up. Again, it doesn't have to be completely straight, you can have a little bend in the knee. Just holding where you like. Just holding really lightly without any pressure. And then we'll send the leg open to the side, so it's going to fall to around a diagonal angle. So you could grab onto your big toe, even if your knee is a bit bent, that's fine, or you could support the leg from underneath. If you like, just try not to rock off the hips, keep them square to the ground. Coming across the body. So just past the midline, you can hold anywhere that's comfortable for you. If you want to apply a little bit of pressure to intensify the stretch, it's all good too. Just make sure that that hip, the right hip at the back, is pressing into the ground, so we're not off it. Okay, and then coming into a neutral position, holding behind your thigh or the calf. Lift your body up towards the legs and tilt the chin in slightly. Try and move your chest up towards your thigh. Holding for a breath. And then slowly, slowly roll back down. Switching to the other side. So leg comes up, bent or straight. So you find the best position for you depending on how tight you feel. The back of the leg. Just a couple of breaths first. And then send the leg out to the side, just at a natural angle, which will be about diagonal, holding wherever you choose, keeping both hips level. So we're never completely relaxed in these stretches. We're still staying a little active, without any real effort, just trying to maintain our posture, maintain stability, just enough tension, also balanced with the right amount of ease in your body. Now passing the leg to the opposite hand, move it gently past the midline of your body, pressing the back of your hip into the floor. So it might be a very small movement until you can get a stretch down the outside of the leg, and choose if you want to intensify that. Then coming to a neutral position, hold up high or down low, you choose. And then lifting your body up to meet your leg. So nose to knee. Hold for another breath. And slowly release down. Okay, get the knees up towards your chest and just rock from side to side. And then choose a comfortable position for the last few minutes of our class. So you might have feet on the floor, knees up. You might have feet touching with knees wide or outstretched. Arms could be at your sides or resting hands on your belly. Take a moment to settle in, fidget if you need to. Focus inwards, turning attention to your breath. And you let your body relax more heavily with each out breath. Really dropping in. Allow everything to soften down, anything you're holding on to. Notice the muscles around your eyes, if you're squeezing them closed. And you relax back. Let go of any tightening around your jaw. Relax cheeks and throat and chest, ribs and belly. Anything you're gripping around the hips. Just keep softening down, bringing attention to your hands, your fingers, the palms. Let your hands feel heavy and relaxed. Stay just as we are. That internal focus, so we can feel from the inside, but also sensing the outside, what sounds you can hear. Sense the temperature of your skin. Feel the pressure and texture of your clothes. The firmness and textures of the ground beneath. And we'll start to come back into the day. A couple of more energetic breaths now. Breathing right down into your belly. Go slowly and completely. Raising the hands, wriggle fingers, circle wrists, circle elbows. Arms wide and reach high overhead on the ground above. Legs shoot out. So a big long stretch on the ground. And then gather knees up towards your chest. Wrap them in. And make your way up to seated, so you can just turn over or you can rock on up with me, getting a bit more energetic. And finally come to seated position. Loop the shoulders a couple of times. And then we'll all take one more breath together to finish. Floating arms wide and high. This time we'll bring hands together, slide them down your center line to your heart space.